Hey, this is Chris Carter here with Peace of Mind Moving and Logistics. This video is a response or reply, an explanation of a one-star review that we got from Mr. or Mrs. Haleski, Brianna. What I'm going to do is, well, first off, Brianna and I, both Mr. and Mrs. Haleski and I spoke on the phone. I am making this review. The review was made in the afternoon. In the morning, I had spoke to Mr. Haleski, and several days prior, I had spoke to Mrs. Haleski. And I'm going to go through the review kind of like line by line or challenge by challenge, or let's say claim by claim. A couple of reasons. One, I'm going to, go through as if you, the viewer, would have been the customer, right? So we can go through, as if, you say this, and then, this is what happened, this is your experience, and I will respond. A lot of, this thing is shaking. A lot of my response. So for us, I pride, and I'm the owner of the company, we pride ourselves on being honorable. And honorable being, both there's truth and how the truth is applied both in context and utilization is what brings honesty, right? So a lot of the statements in the review are truthful, close, and some of them aren't necessarily honest. Some of the things I'll also talk about accountable, who's accountable and who's responsible. So there are things that I feel we could have done better, which is why I sent them back $200. And just note that several days before, when I spoke with Brianna, the missus, there was a couple of things that she had said. And I go, okay, that makes sense. Let me refund that time, right? Because it was, the biggest challenge was it was more expensive than they thought based on the estimate. So a lot of the things that you'll hear me talk about are explaining how that happens and, the parts that we are responsible for. And then accountability on both ends. Some things just happen for certain reasons, and just know this was an hourly rate contract. So I want to go through and just kind of like describe the things, so everybody can actually make up your own mind. Okay. So first thing was, I'm gonna my notes is right. The first thing, 1590. Right. So we gave an estimate. So here's the situation, Brianna, customer. I'm just gonna say Brianna. I'm gonna talk as if you, the viewer, are the customer. Right. Remember when you called in. And you and I spoke, you had said that we were just going to be moving the big items, right? That you had overlapping possession, meaning you were in one house and then you had the new house and there was some time overlapping. You were going to do some work. You just wanted us to move the big stuff. And you had said, you got, bedroom sets, coffee tables, sofa, things like that. And I said, okay. Send me some pictures. At first it didn't sound like much. I thought 2 guys, maybe 6 hours, 7 hours, based on the few things you told me. But by the size of the house, I figured there would be more. So I said, hey, send me some pictures. And again, we're just moving the big stuff because you had a couple of extra weeks. I knew you were on a budget, different things I could tell. And you were going to move all the other things. We were just moving the big furniture that you guys couldn't move yourselves. Okay, great. So send me a picture send me pictures of the items, the big items that we're going to move. That way, when I look at those, when I see the pictures, I see the quality of the furnishings, right? Because coming out of a 2-story house into a 1-story house, going up and downstairs, I need to see, like you might have mirrored furniture, and that's going to take longer because we have to pad and cardboard and all this stuff so we don't break the glass and the mirror on the bedroom sets. Or it could be, 40-year-old stuff that you've had since the 70s and you had it in college and the wood's already all beat up, and that's going to take less time. So you sent me the pictures. I also then, looking at it, said, okay, there's more here than I thought. and from the initial phone calls, because we were only moving the big stuff, sent my guy Pedro, who's kind of been my right hand. He's been with me 8 of my 9 years, does estimates. Not a lot, he's kind of new on doing estimates. He does a few here and there, but not as regular. And he went and took a look, and he said, hey, at the end of it, Chris, we're only doing the big stuff. They said they had a couple weeks, they'll be doing everything else. No big deal, that's what we were doing. Okay, great. He's like, I think 3 guys will probably be plus or minus 6 hours. Okay, probably closer to 7, it might be 5. Okay, cool. I kind of thought the same thing, plus or minus 6 hours, if we're just doing the big stuff. So the estimate that you got at $1,600 is basically 6 hours. I think it's 5.5 how it works out with 3 men. And that was even including, excuse me, I think I have it written up as 5 hours. It was on the low side, right? Because you and I had spoke about your husband taking the beds apart and doing those things, which is why I wrote it up for 5 hours, is because he was going to do stuff in advance, which is take the crib apart, put the crib back together. When the customer takes items apart, we're not necessarily responsible to put them back together, right? Because we don't know how they came apart. And sometimes they take longer. And a lot of times when the customer does these things, it's because they're looking to save time. So, right, most moving companies don't touch cribs anyway. But I told the customer that. Here's a way to save time. If you have time to take the things apart and put them back together, great. Because the things are ready. The way to save time with us so we can be efficient, especially if we're just moving the big stuff, is have everything cleared out. Have all the loose stuff out. If there's dressers, have the boxes to the side. Have everything cleared out or either moved already. And if it's not moved already, it's out of our way so we can just walk in, grab the stuff, get it on the truck, and get it to your house. Now, you guys will see the pictures below. You see the quality of furnishings. There's glass coffee tables. The sofa's nice. The furniture, the bedroom sets are nice things. And all the stuff coming upstairs that was upstairs coming down are nice things. We're going to wrap them and take some time to protect these nice things. That's another thing. And I told Brianna, when it comes to that, my guys are trained to basically overprotect more than most other companies. So other companies might just grab stuff, they put it on a truck, put a pad over top of it, hope that it makes it great. Us, on the other hand, because we're 100% referrals for the most part, mainly referrals, is that we take care of things. So, our normal is higher than most people's other moving companies, top, right? So sometimes when people are in a hurry and they don't really want that kind of care, right? Quality and care, attention to detail, it'll feel like we're overprotecting and over padding. And I told them, this is what you have to pay attention to. Make sure you let the guys know. Okay, so everybody's on the same page. So you say that we went and said, and you sent us pictures, and we gave an estimate. And we gave an estimate based on the expectation of what our thought and how it was described to us, how the move would go, which is we're just moving the big stuff, which is about 1/2 to 3/4 of a truck, right? And without all the loose stuff, it takes us less time. Now, you say, here's the next thing. Pretty easy move, right? So a pretty easy move because it's only 5 minutes down the road. The distance doesn't make anything easier or less easier, right? It still goes on the truck and off the truck. Still takes all the same amount of effort to, go from one to the other. And 80% of our jobs are like Boca to Boca, Boca to Del Rey. It's pretty much, within a 20-minute drive. And you really don't have to pack the truck any different, unless everything's just on the same layer. So the extra 5 minutes, that really doesn't make a difference.